How's it going, Simon?
Doing good. How are you?
I'm doing good. So I brought you on here today to ask you a few questions about yourself and about one of your strategies.
Sure. Sounds good.
All right. So just tell me a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, sure. So my name's Simon. I'm 21 years old, and I'm a local hooper here in Greenpoint.
All right, that's good to hear. Good to hear. So what was the strategy that you went through?
Yeah, so I play basketball a lot in my free time. It's probably one of my favorite things I do. It's a good stress reliever. Get to spend some time with my friends and something I enjoy doing. But unfortunately, in the past 7 years, span of 7 years, I've torn both of my ACLs. Kind of put my basketball career at a halt, and never really was the same after that.
I've also heard that you torn one or two of your MCLs.
Yeah, so in the first tear, I tore my MCL as well as my meniscus. I had to get that surgically repaired, which...
Did you tear both of them at the same time?
Yeah, it'll happen at the same time, and that required an extra, I'd say, maybe a month of rehab to get past. And then in the second tear, it was part of my MCL, but my meniscus was luckily okay.
You said that it happened within 7 years, both of them.
Yeah, my first one happened in high school. I was a sophomore in high school. And the second one happened when I was actually a sophomore in college.
So how did the recovery go? How long did it take you to recover from either one, the MCL or the ACL?
Recovery was terrible, truthfully. I mean, for the first tear, I did rehab for about 3 months. And then after that, it was all about just strengthening my legs. Couldn't only play basketball for a total of 9 months after that. And for the second one, it was pretty similar. 3-4 months of rehab, strengthening, no basketball. And I mean, now I play light basketball. It's all right. But again, I never really was the same after that. No matter how much rehab you do for an ACL injury, you're never really back at 100%. So it's just really tough to come back from. And I'd say the biggest part about the whole process was coming back from it mentally. You can come back physically, but it's really difficult to step on the court, to start pivoting again, to kind of be who you were before. So I take a lesser role now when I play basketball. And yeah, I mean, even to this day, I struggle with it mentally when I play.
Does it affect you still in your daily life?
Daily life, yeah, I'd say, I feel a lot of stiffness here and there. I feel a lot of pain sometimes. It's more of when I'm doing physical activity more than anything. But yeah, there are days where I just feel really stiff. I kind of feel out of it. I have to stretch a lot now in the daily before I do anything. Yeah, I mean, I'd say it affects me maybe weekly more than daily, but definitely feel it to this day.
All right, so I just wanted to ask you a question on how it happened on both the occasions.
Yeah. So first occasion, it was definitely the more horrifying one. I mean, that was the one where I tore not just my ACL, but my MCL and my meniscus. So it takes a lot of force to do. So, I mean, the first one, I was up in the air, going for a layup. I collided with somebody midair, and just the way I landed put way too much pressure on my knee to the point where I tore basically most of the ligaments in my knee. So, I mean, being someone that never really got injured at the time, really prided myself on that. I didn't think much of it at first. I thought I could walk it off. I thought everything's going to be okay. So I took maybe 15, 20 minutes to kind of walk it off, maybe relax a little bit, felt a little bit better. And then I took a step, and all I felt was my knee just completely shift. And that's when I knew something really serious did happen. So called the ambulance, and all my friends kind of waited with me, and I was just in complete shock. I mean, I didn't know what to expect. I hear about ACL tears, hear about broken legs in the NBA. I mean, I didn't really know what happened inside of my knee. So I was just sitting there very shocked. Very stressed out, just not knowing. It's a terrible feeling.
I would also just like to ask you about your journey from the court to the hospital and from the hospital to home.
Yeah, journey from the court to the hospital was a whole different just sense of fear by itself. I mean, when I was at the court, there were maybe around 15 people lined up around me, just asking me what happened. Then the ambulance came, brought the stretcher out, wheeled me in there, and just found myself laying back there. Just, again, really in my own thoughts, thinking what's going to happen, what's next. And worse than that, since I was in a complete state of shock in the ambulance, I started shaking a lot, and they didn't really know what to do with that. So, I mean, they tried everything, but no matter what, I just couldn't stop kind of vigorously just shaking. It lasted the whole time till I got to the hospital. And hospital's not really a pleasant place to be. I mean, you just enter there, it's very gray, very monotone. And I'm already in a really, tough spot. I don't know what's happening. And shit, I completely lost my train of thought, bro. I knew exactly what to say.
All right, so I just want to ask you how the recovery process went.
Yeah, it was tough. Something I wasn't really used to. I mean, you're in high school, college, you have a lot of free time. You're used to just doing whatever you want, going out, experiencing everything. But for a period of time, I was really just stuck at home. Very limited in what I could do. Couldn't do anything physically. Couldn't really go out with my friends much. Couldn't do anything, basically. And other than that, 3 to 4 days a week, I was just stuck in therapy. It was really tough. It was really rigorous. They really tried to push me out of my comfort zone with it. But, I mean, you go through a lot of pain. And I guess before I get into that, it was just really tough overall dealing with the whole pain in the recovery process, the physical pain, something that really persisted for about 3 months, even 4 months. So along with all the mental struggles, I was constantly in a state of just feeling a lot of pain, a lot of stiffness, and very, very tough time.
Did you
And
have to wear a brace?
yeah, that's where a brace for the first month. That's where a brace, so my knee was completely locked, completely stiff. And then after that, they gave me a brace to wear normally, even for school. So I had to go to school in this really big brace that went all the way from my thigh, all the way down to my foot, and I couldn't take it off until way more than a couple months. Really was not pleasant to go to school to do anything with that.
I also wanted to ask you, I know people that tend to get problems within their joints that
Yeah.
they lead to, I fucked that up.
Lead to
So I know a lot of people that deal with joint or bone problems that the pressure of the weather sometimes affects them.
yeah, it's really not a good side effect. It's not something that's really good to go through. Every time it rains, every time there's some severe weather, I do feel a lot of stiffness in my joints. Those are days where I have to stretch a lot, kind of have to get out a lot. I can't just sit still in a single place and do nothing. And depends on how severe the pressure is, but sometimes it does get pretty bad to the point where, I can't really run, can't jump too much, can't do anything that really strains out my knees.
So with all this knee pain, do you have any in your elbows?
I do not have any pain in my elbows.
What's your favorite team?
Favorite team is the New York Knicks.
Do you have a favorite basketball player that you gravitate towards?
Yeah, so naturally my favorite basketball player would be Derrick Rose. I mean, when you think of tragedy, when you think of just looking tragedy in the eye and keeping going, I think Derrick Rose is really the person that comes to mind first. Derrick Rose, youngest MVP in the league. I mean, I really saw him do really big things in the rookie season, so I gravitated towards how explosive he was. And once he tore his ACL, he didn't just stop. He kept training. He came back very early from an ACL tear, and now he's still there. He's still hooping. He's still in the Knicks,
All right, so I wanted to ask you about, after all these experiences that you've been through, where are you right now in life from this?
Well, I'm still playing basketball. Might be a bit counterintuitive after having both of your ACLs, but it's something I can't really get away from. It's probably one of the primary activities I do, and no matter what, whether it's light, I'm still going to go out and play basketball in some way. Yeah, overall, I just try to stay active. I do play some just sports in general. I'm not going to let it really stop me from being physical. I mean, I'm still 21. I still have to get out, and I don't really want to prevent myself from doing anything I could be doing.
I would love to get to know what you learned or gained from this experience and if it gain you any new knowledge?
Yeah, so on a very basic surface level, I mean, it did teach me the importance of stretching before you do any sport. Something I took for granted. I didn't really do anything before playing sports. I just went out, put my body through a lot of pressure, and just kind of assumed everything would be okay. But on a more deeper level, it did teach me to kind of go out and experience life and just go out, try new experiences, just go see the world. Because being stuck inside for that long, you realize that walking and just going out, having the freedom to do anything, something you really take for granted. And now I do realize that since I do have, the ability to go out to try new things, I should make the most of it. Because at the end of the day, it won't always last. You never know what traumatic experience you might go through that prevents you from going through something. So, yeah, then I really just now value the idea of going out trying new things.